Well, heavy rain has pushed the Clutha River to its highest level in almost 2 decades, yet it could have been so much worse as flood banks held and homes stayed dry. But on the Taieri Plains, farmers weren't so lucky. The Taieri and Waipori Rivers have spewed onto farmland, inundating paddocks while dairy cows are at the height of the milking season, and water still surrounds the settlement of Henley. Our Otago Southland reporter Timothy Brown has been out in the region surveying the damage.
Last night was a sleepless one for Steve Selwood. He was among a handful of Clutha residents who were advised to leave their homes as the Clutha River rose to its highest level since 1999. But despite the recommendation to evacuate, he held firm, and so did the river banks.
The water was flowing over here a wee bit from here and coming up through, I think it's a drain thing in the road there, and it was shooting up about 2 inches then, but hey, it never got any higher, so it was still draining out into the river. So yeah, we just stayed with it.
Nothing going to move you?
Yeah, pirate always sticks with the ship. yeah.
But Mr. Selwood won't be staying in his home tonight, as he's worried about the river continuing to rise with more rain forecast and water being released from the Roxburgh Dam further up the Clutha.
We've got our truck packed up and everything that's parked up the road here, so we're just out the back door and over the picnic table and up to the neighbour's place. And that's it.
Across the town at the South Otago Aero Club, 2 planes had to be evacuated from the hangar as the floodwaters turned the property into a space resembling an aquatic centre more than an airport. Chief Flying Instructor Don Cameron says the wind added to their trouble.
We don't have any floats on our float planes, so we can't operate. So. But we've still got aeroplanes stuck in the hangar. We had to put them up on pallets because there was so much wind yesterday. I've never seen anything like it, about probably 50 knots of wind down here, and it was unsafe to get them out and leave them outside.
Don Cameron says dealing with floods at Clutha Airport has become a regular occurrence.
This is just one of our many floods we've had over the years, although it's been probably 98 or 99 around about then since we had our last flood, so we've been pretty lucky up till now.
And Clutha District Mayor Brian Cadogan says despite the sleepless night, it could have been much worse. He still remembers the 1999 flood.
Well, this is the most we've seen since that time. That was a bigger flood. We're running at 2,700 QMAX, maybe just a wee bit over at the moment. It was up around the 4,000, so that was a biggie the last time. This one, the 2 features have been the speed that it's come up and the fact that the Pomahaka catchments contributed so much to it.
And the effects of the flooding have been widely felt. Roads throughout the Clutha district are washed out, as are paddocks along the major river's banks. But Mr. Cadogan says the water levels are easing.
We're feeling that we've got quite a few hours where we can get this inundation away, and we're confident that matters are under control.
But out on the Taieri, where the settlement of Henley remains cut off as water inundates the roads, it will take days for the water to clear. Dairy farmer Gavin Russell says more than 100 hectares of his farm is underwater at the moment.
It's been building up though, so it's been pretty wet here, and all the ditches have been pretty full since the start of November. So yesterday's 80 mils of rain has actually just filled everything right up, and it's now at stage it's been flooding.
Another Taieri dairy farmer who didn't want to be named says he was moving fresh hay bales when the Taieri River started flooding through a spillway and into farmland. He managed to save his 270 bales, but his neighbour wasn't so lucky.
We saw that he was away, and with a group of us that were all local farmers, we decided to help him out, and we tried and shift his baleage up to higher ground. We didn't know we couldn't cart it out, we didn't have enough time. He had 500 bales stacked up in the paddocks that he had made all through the night the other week. In the gap that was 2 days, he made, and they worked till 3 o'clock in the morning to get those bales made. And now they're all floating down the river.
It's been a tough couple of years for farmers on the Taieri Plains. It flooded last July, then they had to deal with a drought, and now another flood during the height of milking season. Like all the residents in coastal Otago, they have one eye on the sky to see what will come in the following days. In Otago, for Checkpoint, Timothy Brown.
And we will give you an update on the weather down south a little bit later in the show.